My name is June Stanton. I was born in on a farm in Soldier, Kansas in June 27, 1938. Do I have to tell my age?
My name is Bill Stanton. And I was born long before she was. On August 8, 1936, in Soldier, Kansas.
You were born August 7th.
What'd I say?
August 8th.
Oh, well, that's close enough.
March 29th, we just had our 58th anniversary.
I remember very well the first time I asked her out, she said no. But then a few weeks later, she asked me to go with her and her parents on a coyote hunt. We went on this coyote hunt. I never did see any coyotes, but we did a lot of walking, a lot of talking. Got to know her better then.
I liked him, I did, but I didn't know he was that crazy about me. I don't know, I just fell in love with him. I mean, he was nice, sweet to me most of the time. And what?
I was the only one in the county she wasn't already related to.
That's true too. And I can remember you taking me home, and I remember that's the first time we kissed. No, I just know he gave me a ring, and we were, I don't know, I guess you asked my dad though, didn't you?
No, I asked you to ask your dad.
Well, anyway, I guess my dad said yes. On March 29th, 1954. No, it
You
wasn't.
did.
Oh, no, 56.
That's somebody else you married in 1954.
No, 1956, like I say, at my parents' house. We got married in March, and I got pregnant then. It would have been June.
Right after you got to California.
Yeah, right after I got to California.
Yeah, it was pretty tough being Navy and being in Japan, and June was back home on the farm. I had a picture of her I carried all over around Japan on the ship all the time. So I got back from Japan and got out of the Navy and come home in July.
He was gone an awful lot. I mean, he traveled a lot with his job, and he'd have to be gone for, 2 or 3 days and sometimes a week, and then he had to go back to school several times, and he was gone for about 2 or 3 months,
2 or 3 months.
then.
School where I went, they had factory was across the street, and they had one phone that was on a line that we could use, and I could call once in a while.
It's very difficult.
Particularly difficult for June.
Well, we had rough times. I mean, definitely rough times when the kids were growing up. I mean, I did, and Bill did too.
One of the bosses at work had mentioned one time they didn't see how we could do this, just working long hours and wherever you were needed and traveling every place and never know when you was going to sleep or eat. And I told him then, I said, well, I'll let you know when I can't do it anymore. I didn't stay in the Navy because I was bound determined I was not going to miss seeing my kids grow up. And finally, I realized one day that I was working such crazy places and odd hours that my kids were grown up and I'd missed it. I went to my boss and I said, look, this has got to slow down or I'm not going to have a wife anymore. She is really getting upset with me being gone all the time.
You know, that was a whole different generation back then. And I don't know, I never did ever think about leaving. I get awfully mad, but I never really ever thought about saying, this is it.
You have to go into it with the idea that there's going to be rough spots, but then you're going to work around them. You just have to work it out. No marriage is going to be without any arguments all the way through.
It'd be kind of boring. If you go into marriage and think everything's going to be perfect forever, you're going to be really disappointed because it's not perfect. I mean, most marriages, I really wouldn't believe anyone if they said they'd been married 58 years and everything had been perfect. Now, somebody's lying there.
You've got to give a little, take a little. little and let your poor heart break.